Everybody, how are we doing today? Got my coffee here. I'm gonna be going over GitHub, Git repositories, BitBucket, basically everything that is version control. Now, if you're not familiar with version control, it's actually been out for a while and it is very, very popular in corporate enterprise type development. And basically, what version control has allowed developers of software, web, really anything that's got multiple people bringing together code, is that it is allowing, I guess that is a feature, is that it's allowing a lot of people to bring together their code and everybody's able to work in different parts of the project, while also continuing to build a bigger application in itself. So basically, as of now, there are two popular outlets that you're most likely going to be coming across when you're getting into version control. One is going to be here GitHub, which actually was recently purchased by Microsoft, and then the other one here is BitBucket, which is also a very popular version control software or outlet that people are using in corporate and enterprise type software. So the first one we're going to look at here is just GitHub, and then I'm also going to GitHub is basically, it was just recently purchased by Microsoft. It is probably the most popular and the original version control outlet online. And then the second one here would be BitBucket, which is also kind of growing into more corporate and enterprise. So let's just take a quick look over here. So the first one we're going to look at here is BitBucket. So basically how this is set up is that you have repositories, and in this case I just have one. It's my Vue project, which I'm working on, and you're able to add all of your different commits, sources, branch information and such. Now this one I actually haven't been working on yet, at least not in BitBucket. I've been working on it in GitHub. But you can see here that it's basically the same thing. So here's a project, you have your source, your commits, and branches, whatnot, that allow for the contribution of the software and most people contributing to it. And the other more popular one is over here, which is GitHub. And again, GitHub was the original. However, there are all the other ones out there. And both of these outlets use what is called Git. Now, don't get confused with GitHub and Git. GitHub is the source where the repositories are put, whereas Git is more the language or the commands that are used to get the files up and down and to convert, merge, and branch information that is needed throughout the project. So basically how this works is very, very similar to FTP. If you're familiar with FTP and kind of pushing up your files, it's basically the same thing. So everything's being stored on a server, and everybody's pushing their material up to it, and those pieces then are coming together to contribute to the total software. So as you see here, this is just basically a standard view set up here, and you can see that we have our README file, our get ignore, things like that that are very common in all sorts of websites. And then also going here, we have all of our public information, which is going to be the index, and then our source, which is going to be all our different views and our components and our assets and things like that. So when we go into Git, these are basically the references that are used, and you're going to have to go through your terminal. Now, I've just made a few commands here. So once you've installed Git, just go to git.com and it'll install, and then using your command line, you're going to be able to make the commands with that. So basically the first thing you have to do, and I'm not going to get too into depth with this, I just kind of want to give a more of an overview, is just going to create a project where you have your folder and carrying over into that information. And what you're going to see is through a few commands, you're going to be able to, like git status is going to say that all of these files which are in our Vue application have not been pushed up to our remote server. And part of that is because we haven't done a git config, which merges saying that this folder and this repository are working together. So I'm not going to go too much into all the different Git references, but you're able to find them here. There's not too many, honestly, and most of them you're not even going to use. You ultimately will end up using like maybe a dozen of these pretty commonly. But go through them and play with them a little bit. But ultimately what that's going to allow everyone to do is then bring these files together where then they can all be collaborated into bigger software. So if you guys have any questions about using either a BitBucket or a GitHub or any type of version control which may help collaborate your software as a company or as a business, let us know. We'd be glad to help. We are extremely experienced with Git and with both Git repository type softwares, which are GitHub and BitBucket, and we would love to help. So I'm going to be breaking down both BitBucket and GitHub and Git into a more detailed video. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions about just version control in general, feel free to reach out and give us a call, or just leave a comment below and I'll be sure to get back to that. Also, like, subscribe, that stuff helps trying to keep these videos going. But take care, guys. We'll catch you soon and have a good one.